So what up, folks? Dexter had his final episode this Sunday, and of course I watched it. So if you didn't have a chance to see it, please go see it. Watch it, download it, Netflix it, whatever it is, and watch it before you watch this video, because I don't want to spoil anything for anybody. Please, so go watch it. Now, as far as this last episode was concerned, I mean, it was just like the whole series for me. It's always hit or miss. You know, some things are good, some things are bad, and the problem is the writers are all just never have any finesse when telling the story. It's always the sledgehammer approach, which is just brutally, painfully obvious about everything, even down to Dexter's inner voice. Like, there are parts where, you know, yes, I know you're sad. I don't need to hear Dexter tell me that he's sad to know that he's sad. I mean, they've always been like that, good at some points, but just horrible at other points. Now, I have never hid the fact that I thought that Dexter had gone on for just too long. Like, there was a point where I realized that there was a formula to the show. You know, at the beginning of the season, there'd be some kind of awkward, strange death, and then towards the middle, there's some kind of eccentric serial killer. I'm like, damn, how many serial killers are there in Miami? God. And then Dexter and the serial killer face off, and finally Dexter kills the super bad guy. And that was the formula from season 1 to season 6. And finally, after all the crowd uproar, they finally switched it up, and that's when Deborah found out about Dexter. But I'm happy that it ended, although I'm not happy the way that the series ended. Now, everything in this final episode wasn't all bad, so I'm not going to lead you to believe that, but there were a couple of shining points of light in there. One of them was the dynamic of Harrison and Hannah. And that was one I just did not see coming from anywhere. Like, I thought that Hannah, even last season, I thought she was, like, just waiting to murder Dexter. Like, she was waiting for him to trust her, and then she was going to kill him. But, like, that Harrison, Black Widow, son of a serial killer dynamic is kind of interesting. Although I'm not sure that I would watch a show with just those two, though. So my absolute favorite scene of that whole entire last episode was that final scene between Dexter and Deborah. And you'll remember, this is after Deborah has been declared clinically brain dead. So Dexter goes out, he comes back, and you'll notice Dexter has on his kill outfit, that outfit he wears whenever he is about to go track somebody down and murder him. And actually, Dexter has come to the hospital to kill his sister. He couldn't live with her in that condition, so he had come to actually finish her off, which I thought was it was a pretty sad way to finish off Deborah's story. I mean, she was a really strong character, and I thought it was a very, I don't know, cop-out way to kind of finish her off. But in that scene, I thought it had a lot of parody for her. One, she dies by the hands of the guy that she had been trying to protect or trying to, you know, be there for. And two, she ends up being disposed of the exact same way that everyone else that he had killed had been died. She was just dumped off in the middle of the ocean. So I think that had a lot of parody to it. It was sad to see her finished off like that. I was really upset about that. That one had me a little miffed. So Hannah eventually ends up escaping, and the very final scene, which just has me baffled, and if you understand it, please explain it to me, because I have no freaking idea. But after Dexter dumps off his sister's body, he drives into the hurricane, right? And, you know, his boat's destroyed and all this stuff, and it turns out he's alive. He's a lumberjack in wherever, driving trucks. And he comes in, he sits down, and he looks at the camera, then closes his eyes. And that is the end of the freaking series. Are you serious? What was that supposed to mean? Like, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, what did that mean? What was that supposed to be symbolic of? I just thought it was a horrible way to end it. I know I wasn't the only one. I read a couple of reviews about it as well. But if you understand that, please explain it to me, because I have no idea. Now, it's a little troubling because it leaves so many questions. Now, is Dexter out there killing people in the Great North Alaska, or wherever he is? Does he have any contact with Hannah? Is he keeping up with Harrison? Like, there's so much stuff that it leaves questions for that. I hated the way they ended that. I mean, I really don't complain about stuff like that, but that one, I truthfully hate the way that they ended that series. Now, one of the writers for the show, and he was writing through season like 1 through 3 or 1 through 4, but he came up with an absolutely amazing ending. And I wish they would have used that, because it was much more conclusive than the one that they came up with. But his was, okay, so similar to the ending of Dexter, the camera's kind of looking at Dexter and he has his eyes closed. So it's real tight on his face. You just see his eyes. Opens his eyes and the camera kind of pans back, like zooms away, so you see more of him. And you notice that Dexter's kind of laying down on this table, flat on the table. So the camera continues to zoom back, and finally you see that Dexter has on a Florida penitentiary jumpsuit. So it zooms back, and then you see that Dexter is on death row and he's about to be administered lethal injection. And as this camera finally zooms back, you see all of his body. It kind of turns around and you see all the people that Dexter had either killed directly or indirectly had died from Dexter. Like, look where you see the Trinity killer, his dad, all of these people are in the crowd, and it was a much more conclusive. He finally paid for his actions, everything that he had done. You know, he was finally caught. Although it doesn't explain how he got caught and all that stuff, it was a much better ending, a much better way to end the series, because it's very definitive. You know, Dexter's about to be dead, so you're not going to be worried about him coming back and him killing other people. So I think that would have been a much better ending for the series. But who am I to think that that's a better ending? And if you guys have anything better, or if you find a better ending, please leave it down there for me. Also, if you know what that last freaking scene with Dexter was supposed to be about, my God, please leave that for me, please.
It is a beautiful day to f*** up.